Hey y'all, welcome to the channel. You know what it is, Shine Dig. Let's get into it. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about life. Life is hard. It's always been hard. Likely always will be hard. But there's a few things that we can do, that we're already doing, some of us, that can help you change how hard your life is. One of these things that you can do, that you can start out with right away, is perspective. Now, in this context, perspective, okay, I'm not referring to the art form. I'm referring to your point of view, how you see the world, how you think about things, okay? Now, why this is important, why I feel it's relevant, is because a lot of us have our perspective weaponized and used against us. And sometimes that's an outside factor that causes this to happen. And other times it's an internal factor, something that may have been left unprocessed, something that we need to deal with. Now, over the past few years, particularly the past 6 months, my perspective on myself has very much changed. And I'm going to tell you the reason for that. For a long time, I ran with what you would call, a rougher crowd. I believed in the people that I was around, and I believed that they believed in me for a very long time. That even though I believed that they believed in me, I did not believe in myself. And the reason for that was because of, again, my perspective, how I seen things, how I thought that everybody was capable of doing whatever it is they set their mind to. And that, in fact, is a fact. And I use the word fact because there is a big difference between the words truth and facts, right? Truth, for lack of a better way of saying it, is what we believe the truth to be. The individual believes the truth to be with our own biases attached to it. Facts are just that, straight up facts. Black is black, white is white. You get where I'm going with this. Now, going back to perspective and how it affects us, okay? You may have heard this saying before, whether you can or you cannot, you're right. And what that quite simply means is, if you believe, okay, that you can accomplish the things that you have been put out here to do, then you will. If you believe that you cannot, then you will not, right? Okay, so we start there. Now, believing is one thing, and you hear a lot of talk about manifestation, all right? How do I manifest, Shine? Well, in my experience, it's a two-part process. The first thing that you're going to have to do is take a hard look at what you're doing, how you're thinking, and why, okay? And why do you want to do that? Because, well, frankly, if you don't, who will? Okay? Now, there's another thing that we need to bring into all of this, and that is your environment, okay? It is well known by now that environment makes up 80% of the individuals that each of us are. And I know that's a wild number, but it is huge. And if you think about it and we break it down together, you'll understand why your environment is so important to who you are, maybe why you've been stuck in the things that you've been stuck in, and more importantly, how you can change that to start getting everything that you can out of this wonderful, beautiful life that we all are still participating in. Now, change is something that is uncomfortable for most people that I know. But the change is what brings that inner growth. And in order to change, you have to be able to understand that life is hard, okay? And to take the time to be able to sit down and get in touch with yourself is not something that you can put on the back burner, okay? It's not something that you can just leave and let simmer. It's something that you need to do to get the things you want, to become the person you want to be. Whoa. It's a little sloppy out here on the path today, so I was a little bit of a slip. But anyhow, back on point, okay? It's been in your hands the whole time. The thing is, there's a whole lot of distortion out here, a whole lot of noise. And I know that all y'all know that have been following me, and I truly do hope that you continue. It really does mean the world to me. All y'all do. But you got to start with yourself. And how I know this is every time that I personally put myself on the back burner, dark forces will end up coming in and taking everything over, stripping me of everything, breaking me back down to nothing because I did not learn the lesson. I had not been listening. And when I say listening, it's not always just with these. Most of the time, it's right here, okay? It's that voice that tells you, you are enough. You are great. You can be anything that you want to be. But it's not just going to happen. It's not just going to fall out of the sky. You got to work for it. You got to grind and you got to earn it. And you need to be authentic, okay? This is a big deal, all right? Authenticity, rigorous authenticity, I dare say, okay? And what that means is it's easy to go and try to mime somebody that you may have a great appreciation for, okay? Now, that is fine. That is fantastic. You should continue to strive to be around and to change your environment to include people that are at your level or above. Now, why do I say this? The reason why is because if you're putting your time, the biggest commodity that we have is time, okay? And it's how we use it that makes us effective or not. So, you can go and try to do something somebody else is doing. You can try and take what they're doing. And what's going to happen is you're going to end up losing yourself in trying to become this other person, this other individual, so on, etc. You put on a new mask. And what this is about is stripping that mask, okay? There's no requirement for it anymore. There was, and we likely learned this at a very young age. Maybe you had to please people. Maybe the house you grew up in was not in order. Maybe you were in the system, okay, and you had to survive. And I know that for the people that have been checking out my stuff and following along, that all you are warriors, okay? So, here's perspective, all right? Perspective. Let's get back to that. There's a saying I heard that I love, sticks with me. Every story has three sides: yours, mine, and the facts. And what that simply means is that oftentimes on this planet, we are emotional beings who think. We are not thinking beings who are emotional. Take a second to think about that, okay? We are emotional beings that think. We're not thinking beings that are emotional. Why is it important to know the difference between these two things? Well, I'm going to tell you. Why it's important to know this is because if you do not comprehend the fact that emotions drive us to make some of the best and most foolish decisions that we have ever made in our lives, they are the opportunities for growth, for change, for that authenticity that you've been searching for. And it will come as long as you continue to be authentic, surrender the outcome, and do uncomfortable work. Anything worth doing, okay, is not easy. It's not comfortable. For a lot of y'all, getting on a camera, talking, getting in front of a crowd, spreading that insideness to create that goodness that this world needs now, so much more than I can ever recall in my living history. So be true to yourselves. Take time to sit down, to organize yourself, to put your words together, to put your thoughts together. Take time to tell the ones you love that you love them and be sincere. And if there's someone in your life that's not bringing you that love that you deserve, that's making you feel like anything less than you truly are, then it's time for them to pound sand, okay? It's time for them to go, because you ain't got no time for that, baby, okay? So, before I go, there is one thing I want to say, and it does tie to this whole concept of perspective, all right? And y'all can fill in your own blanks on this. Right now, a few days from now, there's a big thing happening. And I want you to stay with me on this now. Covert warfare is this. Create situation A, then create situation B. Something like this. We're the best. That's why you should check for us. And then the other side goes, no. Don't listen to them. We're the ones that you should listen to. And you want to know why this is so effective? Because you got two eyes. And if I put two things in front of those eyes, one's going to go this way, one's going to go that way, and I can walk right down the middle. I know. It ain't right. It ain't nice. But it is what it is right now. We all have our part. We always have. Some of us are finding it right now. Some of us are getting started. But remember, my friends, it is always darkest before the dawn. And if we want this world to continue on, then we all must move on, united together as one. I love y'all. For any of y'all that have hit me up, that you have subbed up, that you have commented, if I have not got back to you, I need to put this in there right now. It is not because I am not responding on purposely. It is because I am not the most tech savvy fella. I'm learning just like everybody else is learning every day in all areas that I can to continue to push, to be the change that I want to see. And I'm seeing it every day. And every one of you that comes out to the community, and every one of you that posts, and every one of you that shares some truth, don't ever stop believing, baby. Now, you know what I'm going to say, so say it with me. Keep on shining, baby. We out.